I'll set the stage super quick. So, Greg here, you grew up in Haiti, one of the poorest countries in the Americas, lowest GDP, one of the lowest GDPs, one of the lowest literacy rates, and you made it all the way to Seattle, became an AI product leader, top voice on LinkedIn. What do you think, what do you attribute to your ability to get out of that circumstance and make it to where you are today?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me. It's really great to see some new faces, also the familiar ones. So, Haiti, let me start with that. I think most parents, just to cut to the chase, they're very conservative. So it's like the work ethics that they instilled in their kids. It's like you don't have any choice. You don't have a choice to fail. If you're learning something, you have to learn it the best possible, and you have to really be at the top of your game. And it was very competitive when you're at school. So when I think about that, and I had a chance to come to the US to go to college, I found school pretty easy. The advantage that I found was in Haiti, there was a lot of theoretical studies. In the US, there's a lot of put things in practice. So I was able to when I got to college, I was able to put the two together. All of these years I spent harnessing theories, I was finally able to practice that, and I find it very intuitive. So now you take that and you give yourself an objective, a goal, a passion, and you go after it, and you apply it, and you win. You lose for sure. You learn from your failures, and you keep going until you get it. And those are all core education you get from your parents, and what you build for yourself as a character, and the people you surround yourself with as well, that helps you get along the way.
So I've known Greg for 5 years. I actually reached out to him on LinkedIn when he made Top Voice, and we had dinner at the Black Duck, and I actually got him hired at Scale AI. I don't know if you guys know Scale AI in the early 2021, and Greg was instrumental in driving a lot of awareness for a lot of our events at Scale. We did, I don't know if you guys attend any of our events, but we did a lot of webinars. This is post-pandemic, and the key there is like getting people to the webinar, and Greg was very instrumental in doing that. So, maybe share your story, like how you built and became Top Voice. I think becoming a content creator is a must-have for any founder, or even most operators, right? I need to differentiate. So share that story and advice to everyone here.
Sure. Well, first of all, it's not something that I planned. I remember, I think for the first couple years of creating like a LinkedIn account, I had probably 500 people, 500 connections, and those were folks that I worked with. In this case, there weren't really any interactions and things like that. So I remember around 2018 or 2019, people started to talk more about AI. And one thing I gave myself an objective. I said, hey, I want to tinker with Python. And I want to be vulnerable. I want to share my journey. And therefore, I'm going to take a class. Like I remember Udemy at the point was the number one platform where folks were going and taking, self-studies. And then every time I reach a milestone, I drive a project and I share my learnings on LinkedIn. Little do you know, so many people relate to what you're going through as a consumer, as a person, as a human. And you're starting to find folks rely on your thought process. They show up more. It's kind of like every morning you already know the channels to go to find the news, to figure out what's going on out there, because you rely on a certain time when that thing comes. Anyone here knows TLDR? Raise your hand if you subscribe to at least one of them, right? You already know at what time it's coming out, and you can tell, oh crap, Mark Zuckerberg is trying to purchase folks with $100 million thing. So you're starting to rely on those things. And I think LinkedIn at the time was that platform that offered this opportunity. And you do something consistently over time, what you will get is a group of folks who will align with your vision, or even share something different from what you're thinking. And at the end of the day, you grow a community that pulls value from each other.
Was there one particular post that just went absolutely viral that you blew up with? Or like, was it just like, there wasn't really any hack, it was just the consistency, and then maybe you picked like the right niche of content that people really, really were interested in at the time?
Yeah, so definitely I picked a niche subject for sure. And at the time it was AI, but also I was going around these subjects as well. Analytics, database, conversations, computer science, etc. And one of them particularly, I think that's the one you that got your attention and you called me. It was around world equations that changed the world. Some of the equations that changed the world. Talked about Schrodinger and things like that. I did take some class in quantum computing, and I'm really fascinated about how folks can really observe the world and come up with this formula that kind of mimic or tries the best to mimic what's happening in the world. And when I just published that, a lot of people felt, fascinated by those things and how these equations were being used just about every day in some companies to provide us with affordable services, and that really created a lot of noise for me. So, yeah.
And you mentioned you posted like every day consistently for for a year plus. I mean, initially, and to get the flywheel going. Like in terms of like what are some advice you would give founders, operators who want to build a personal brand to, what are the specific, habits, the tactics that you use to help build your creator growth strategy?
I think the first thing is to kill the noise. You cannot know it all. You cannot share it all. Just find something you're passionate about and go deep into it. And then also, don't be afraid to share something that's controversial. That's the second one. The third one is be sure to be able to share non-obvious insights. I think that's pretty much the good one. And how I think about non-obvious insights is until you say it, the room says, oh, yeah, of course. But before you said it, nobody was saying it, or even nobody was thinking about it. So non-obvious insights are pretty much the ones that really helps you differentiate yourself versus others who are trying to be, vocal about something. It's for every single product. Marketers that are able to share non-obvious insights about a product and how they create value for you, those are the ones that grab attention versus the competition. When the perceived value is at least 10 times bigger than the price of that product is when they kind of like make a move. And that applies as well in the world of content creation. You talk about things that none are sharing that way. And you also talk about it in a consistency or set timeline that folks rely on and really engage on. So I could predict that when I miss my mark, whether India will engage or not, for example, or the East Coast versus the West Coast, depending on the time that I post. So I started to learn those things and understanding people's patterns and availability, and took advantage of that to bring some content to the web.
So one of the things that I've been hearing a lot recently is that there's no more competitive moats for a lot of these companies that are building AI applications, right? Like ChatGPT is just wiping a lot of them out, and then also there's no barrier because you can build something so quickly. And now I've been hearing that the go-to-market is becoming more of a moat for a lot of these companies. And we're even seeing some companies take this to almost an extreme. Company like Cluely, who was all over the news recently, announced that they're only hiring people that have over 20,000 followers on LinkedIn. Yeah, something like that. And then there's another one called Series, which is the most well-funded Ivy League student startup. They've been going viral all over LinkedIn. So I'm curious on your perspective on this. Like, how do you see this evolving? Do you truly believe that like that is going to differentiate companies and allow them to have some type of moat in this current AI race, or not as much?
I think it would be a combination. of distribution and through moat. Moat could be also domain knowledge, the proprietary data that you have a hold of, because really we all agree that AI really is not the moat anymore. But in terms of distribution, I think when you have that, this is your chance to explain to those who are hesitating to buy your product how easy it is to find your product and how easy it is to create or extract value from your product. So I think distribution is definitely key. And especially today, not everyone trusts AI. So if that distribution message is able to connect to that emotion, human emotion and human patterns, behavioral pattern, those are the things that can help generate things or generate leads or sales better than competitors. So it's a combination of many things, but I wouldn't say that distribution is the only moat, I would say.
So I know you're really diving deep into agentic AI and even building things. Yeah, tell me more about your passion. You've been posting a lot about agentic AI, and I'm also going to be hosting a panel on agentic AI with leaders. How do you actually productionize autonomous agents? I mean, that's the key, right? So maybe you can talk about your perspective on autonomous agents and what you're building.
Yeah, I tinker a little bit with that, and especially I use it for my work. I'm a product manager at AWS, and I think about different ways to have agents make my work easier or faster. Things like, it would take me some time to knock on the door of engineers to tell them, hey, I have this idea. I want to build this prototype that I want to put out there to a key list of customers. And when can you build me that prototype? Well, it would take a couple weeks. Versus now, you have tools at your disposal. You spin up a Visual Studio notebook. You hook it up with an LLM. You have this agent who helps you read your BRD and spin up a prototype. You hook it up with a few data, and then you have something working. It's not going to be perfect, but at least it's going to get you the first set of feedback from your customers. So those are the things that I'm thinking about into doing. And then when I think about agents, really, I think like us humans, we have this fascination in terms of building things into our image. So, and then we want to understand what that system is doing. So, for example, we want to hear the agent say, I'm thinking, let me understand what you're saying. Let me plan this. Here's what I'm going to do. Now, okay, here's what I did, etc. So really understand, like, why do we need to build it this way? I can understand that when it comes to building agents that interact with humans. But at some point, agents to agent communication don't need to have that visibility. It just needs to be, data processing and then pass it on to another agent and then go forward with it. The other thing that I'm learning too is to kind of like, you have to understand the budget that you have. For example, when I use it personally and I want to build a system that can reason, plan, and then take action, is it necessary to have a robust agent or LLM that powers this agent to perform everything, or can I just separate the two? So maybe I can have a more robust LLM that can help me reason, plan, make the plan, and then in terms of execution, I can call a cheaper one. So really helps me understand kind of like how to play around budget, how to also manage memory as well, how to manage, context, how much expensive it can get, and why do I need so much space? Why do I need to have contextual data to make sure that we make sense of the whole message or the whole conversation? And then also understanding how agents can collaborate with each other as well to get a final goal. I was super fascinated when I hear about, research papers. I believe Google put that one out about like how agents can create research papers by, they make a proposal, they come into a room and have other agents read it, proofread, etc., and then propose something, right? To me, it's fascinating because that's how we work. We're trying to create these things to our image. And what we're looking for, in my opinion, is a way to trust this system.
Perfect. So shifting gears a little bit, and just so the audience knows, we're going to have time for some audience Q&A as well shortly. So start thinking about what you want to ask Greg. And shifting gears a little bit, I know that you also sometimes invest in AI startups, advise AI startups. I'd love to know what you look for in a founding team, what you look for in an AI startup. You probably have unique insight because of your work that you've done at AWS, as well as just your network that you've built through LinkedIn.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I have the best advice there because I feel like I'm still learning in that space. But I go a lot with I go with intuition, energy. Do we have matching energy? So if I know you're building something that I'm interested in and I want to hear you talk, I want to feel your energy about that space. How do you feel about it? And then I go to more rudimentary approach, right? More deterministic approach. Are you qualified to do this thing? Is this a big space, competition, etc.? To me, those are things you'll never know. It could be that something totally outside of the founder's control that contributes to the startup's failure. And so, thank you very much. Let's see if that works.
This is for the video recording, actually. So.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, so in this case, I think I look at a lot of, domain expertise and really how you understand the space. How deep can you go into the space and understand what you'll be doing differently from the competitors? And then also, I'm not so much fascinated by, I'm bringing you this blue ocean opportunity. Well, there are also startups that can do very well in red oceans. It could be something as simple as, forget AI, right? So it could be something as simple as, I will provide customer service better than the competitors in this red ocean. And this will make me differentiated. But the way I will perform this customer service is going to be very hard to copy. And those are ways that I really love to hear founders go about them and make a decision. So yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Any audience questions? Oh.
Yeah, like how can people connect with you? I know, you get a lot of, as an influencer, you like to, if you believe in the brand, right? You partner with them. You like Scale AI. Right?
Yeah.
You met with Marcel and you believed in the team. So I know you work on. So if people approach you, what is your decision criteria in putting your brand behind?
Yeah, I think I don't have a set criteria, but if it's definitely something that can change people's lives and I like the team, I'm very approachable on LinkedIn. I've done all the effort that I can to access those messages, and they come in a lot. LinkedIn is not the friendliest place to manage your messages, but I've done better there. And if what you're building really align with my core beliefs of making people's lives better, creating value for businesses and people, definitely, or employees uses a core technology, core domain expertise, I'm happy to support. So, yeah.
Awesome. Question over here?
Yes.
Quick question. So we know that AWS is building their own chip using TSMC as the fab to make your chip, right? But what about the water and the power requirements? Has AWS looked into themselves creating a power source, let's say solar farms, or perhaps water desalination? TSMC is in the desert, right? So I wonder, and your team, are you looking at you want to create inference with your AI chip and your AI ecosystem for the servers in the data centers. But how do you sustain that? Because you need more power and you need more water. So I wonder if AWS is looking at that, because that helps the world, helps Mother Nature. Like solar farms, cooling down, less CO2 emissions.
Yeah, so just long story short, unfortunately, I cannot share things. I do work in the infrastructure space. I cannot share much about AWS or anything that I work at. One thing that I can tell you is there are companies out there who are good at taking advantage of economies of scale to make services affordable and available for people. So I wouldn't be surprised if there are companies who are actually doing what you're saying, but I can't speak for, I'm not representing them today. So, yeah.
Any other questions? And then you next.
In regards to you being passionate about making a positive impact in the world, what is something you're most excited about right now?
What am I excited about? I have a very utopian look too at the future. It's very in the clouds. So I think that labor laws are changing. You're hearing a lot of job losses, but also job creations. But what I'm seeing is that we're creating digital workers that potentially will do things in a more productive way and a more affordable way than us. So I'm very curious, a little crazy thought, right? Like, how are labor laws changing with that? And what does it mean to hire a digital worker, to fire one even? And then also,
like an AI agent?
AI agent, yep. And then also, when you give it a body, a physical body, like with robots, for example, what does it mean there, right? How many personalities can you put inside of a body? And then, then you have this digital worker in a physical body that can help society move around. What does that mean? So I started to look into those things and understand how it impacts people. I'm very AI is here to augment us type person versus AI is here to make us sit down and do nothing type person. So I'm really excited about those ideas. Thank you for asking.
Going off your idea of following human patterns and agentic architecture, I know you were saying that we're moving towards agents being able to speak to each other, not in the background, and not seeing that. But on my platform, we're integrating our agentic architecture as if it were a human conversation, like in a Slack group chat, instead of having it happen on the back end. And I think that lots of the leaders, or like the best agentic platforms that I'm seeing, have some type of interface for seeing the thinking, but it's, I think, foreign to a lot of people. So I know you said we're moving towards that agents being able to talk to each other in the background, but what do you think about moving that to the forefront and bringing it into a more human pattern as a way for people to more easily ingest that agent architecture?
Yeah, so it really comes down to who are you building for, and whose trust are you trying to gain. So for a developer, obviously, you want to have a way to follow the log and follow, being able to answer why an agent was able to act a certain way, for example. And then for the front end, right, the core users, maybe the value is in making the person feel like they're talking to a pseudo-human, right? So it really depends on the use case. There's really no formula for this. I think what truly matters is working backwards from the problem that you want to solve. Like, what are you trying to achieve and why? And when you develop that, when you deploy that or deliver this value, is it perceived as valuable by the person experiencing the problem? And then you go from there. And then the other piece of that, too, is as you scale, how can you control the costs as well? Now, if you want to see every single planning decision, and then you want to hold everything into memory, you want to keep every contextual information into memory and all that stuff, can you afford the cost?
Right.
And those are the considerations you have to make.
Right.
Thank you.
Well, keep going. Yeah, go ahead.
Greg, I followed you a lot.
Oh, thank you.
LinkedIn since pre-pandemic kind of.
Pre-pandemic, wow. Thank you.
Just the future of AI, like how it relates to content creation. The words artist creator just brought that to my mind. As a content creator on LinkedIn, probably across our platform. What's your take on AI-generated content and what that means?
I cringe. I cringe so much. It's so easy to spot them as well. So easy. Now, I would be a hypocrite to say I don't use it though, because I'm trying to keep up, right? But I also try to find a balance between eliminating noise versus what truly matters. The way I use it for content creation is to help me with the cold start. It's kind of like you're writing a document and you don't know where to start, where you can have AI spit out the next tokens very quickly for you. And then you can take that, put your expertise into play, and then next thing you know, in an hour, you can have a very consistent document, a one-pager, two-pager, you name it, right? Yes. Where I cringe is where people are not making an effort to reveal that they're using AI. And at this point, to me, I think like if you're a content creator and you have a fair amount of followers, you have a responsibility to do your work, right? You're not expected to be right, but you're expected to tell the truth or the or an interpretation of what you believe to the best possible way. Not just spread things that are untrue and things like that. So I really cringe when I see those. But I hope that platforms like LinkedIn are able to spot them and not spread them like that. Because some of these posts, they're really playing on people's emotion as well, and then they spread like wildfire. So it's not good.
Quick follow-up.
Yeah.
Do you see platforms like LinkedIn doing anything in collaboration with influencers like you to spot the noise, AI-generated noise, and actually be able to distinguish authentic posts?
That's a good question. I get reached out by content managers all the time on LinkedIn, and they're asking for. I have access to new features first before they come. So testing different things, like for example, video content. It's very difficult right now, right, to not being able to spot that it's AI generated. So I'm hoping that with the vast amount of human-generated content that they already have, that they're not already able to surface or distinguish between the real and the non-AI-generated one. So I don't even think I can contribute there because they have use of data already that sound human, that are from human, pre-2019, that they should be using that to spot the AI, right? So yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, give it up.
Give it up for Greg.
Great.